Transport logistics for a partially constructed art installation proved more complicated than anticipated. By the time I arrived at the hospital with my carefully disassembled components, visiting hours were nearly over. The nurse at the station gave my art supplies a dubious look but, after checking Marcus's chart, allowed me 15 minutes. "He's being discharged tomorrow," she informed me. "Maybe save the art project for then?" "This can't wait," I insisted. Something in my expression must have convinced her. 15 minutes, she repeated, pressing the room access button. I found Marcus sitting up in bed, color improved markedly from previous days. He wore actual clothes rather than hospital gown, a clear sign of imminent release. His eyebrows rose at the sight of my bulging portfolio case and backpack. "Either you're moving in or that's the most comprehensive homework delivery ever," he observed. "Neither." I began unpacking components, nerves suddenly flaring. What had seemed profound in my studio might appear self-indulgent here. "It's my final project. Part of it, anyway." "And you brought it here because?" "Because it's about us." I continued setting up, transparent panels arranged to create layered perspectives, photographs mounted between acrylic sheets, light elements positioned to create specific shadows. "And I needed you to see it first." His expression shifted from amusement to genuine interest as the installation took shape across his hospital tray table and adjacent wall space. When the final element was positioned, I stepped back, suddenly uncertain. "It's not complete," I explained hurriedly. "The full version will be room-sized, interactive. But this contains the essential." Words failed as Marcus studied the piece, his photographer's eye moving methodically through each layer. The installation incorporated elements from our shared journey, fragments of his lighthouse photographs, my sketches, textures from places we'd visited, even the vintage camera rendered in detailed illustration. Transparent layers required viewing from specific angles to align properly, revealing different narratives depending on perspective. "This is..." he began, then paused, seemingly searching for words. "Too much," I offered, anxiety mounting. "Extraordinary," he finished quietly. "You've captured exactly how it feels." "How what feels?" "Being seen." His gaze moved from the artwork to my face. Not just observed but actually seen. Relief coursed through me. That's what I was trying to express. How we exist in layers, what's visible and what's hidden, what's shown and what's protected. How connection happens when we align perspectives, even briefly. Marcus extended his hand toward one of the photographic elements, the lighthouse captured at dawn, my amateur attempt juxtaposed with his professional image. "You've integrated our different viewpoints. Equal but distinct." "That's the core concept," I confirmed. "Different perspectives of the same fundamental truth." He studied the installation for several silent minutes, occasionally shifting position to observe how changing angles revealed different alignments. Finally, he looked up, expression open in a way I rarely witnessed outside our most private moments. "This isn't just art school assignment work," he said. It wasn't a question. "No," I admitted. "It started that way but became something else. Something necessary." "When did you create this?" "Last night, after talking with Rivera." "And Tyler?" His eyebrows raised slightly. "Tyler?" I explained my conversations. Rivera's revelation about her illness transforming her work, Tyler's unexpected defense against his father's concerns. "Tyler defended you to my father?" Marcus sounded genuinely surprised. "That's unprecedented." He said, "I remind you there are things worth pushing for beyond professional achievement." A small smile touched Marcus's lips. "He's not wrong." A noise from the doorway interrupted us. The nurse signaling my time was ending. I began carefully disassembling the installation. "Leave it," Marcus suggested. "Just until tomorrow morning. I'd like to spend more time with it." The simple request, to keep my expression of our connection literally beside him overnight, moved me unexpectedly. I nodded, repositioning only the most precarious elements for stability. "The full installation will incorporate sound elements," I explained. "Audio fragments from places we've been. And viewers will move through layers rather than staying static." Rivera assigned you showcase space? He asked, professional interest evident beneath personal connection. Provisional approval, I clarified. Execution pending. His smile widened. She doesn't give provisional approval lightly. You've impressed her. I finally understood what she's been pushing me toward all year. Vulnerability as strength, not weakness. A lesson that apparently takes some of us longer than others, he acknowledged ruefully. The nurse reappeared, expression firm. That's time. I'll be back tomorrow for discharge, I promised Marcus, gathering my bag. Eliot. His voice stopped me at the doorway. Thank you. For making this. For showing me first. It's our story, I said simply. You deserve to see it before anyone else. Marcus's return to campus housing the next day came with strict medical protocols, limited studio time, mandatory rest periods, consistent medication schedule. His father had wanted him to complete the semester remotely from their city apartment under proper supervision, but Marcus had refused so firmly that even Dr. Westfield eventually relented. Senior showcase preparation is non-negotiable, Marcus had explained when recounting the argument. And certain relationships require proximity. Our relationship shifted into new patterns, study sessions in his room when fatigue limited his mobility, camera walks on his stronger days, quiet evenings reviewing each other's developing projects. His health fluctuated but stabilized gradually under the new treatment protocol. Meanwhile, my installation grew from concept to reality as Rivera secured university funding for materials. Working between classes and time with Marcus, I constructed a full-scale version that transformed a corner of the exhibition space into immersive experience. 2 weeks before the showcase opening, Rivera conducted final evaluations. Senior portfolios received primary attention while first years waited nervously for potential inclusion. When my turn arrived, I guided her through the completed installation. Viewers entered through transparent panels that gradually revealed complete images only from specific perspectives, sound elements triggered by movement, photographic and mixed media components creating dialogue between mediums. Rivera circled the installation 3 times, expression unreadable. Finally, she turned to me. You've integrated the technical precision crews influenced with authentic emotional content, she observed. The vulnerability we discussed is present but disciplined, not self-indulgent. From Rivera, this constituted effusive praise. The showcase committee meets tomorrow, she continued. This piece will be included, not in the first-year auxiliary section but in the main exhibition. The main exhibition is for seniors, I said, confused. It's for work that demands serious consideration, she corrected. Yours qualifies. As news of showcase selections circulated through the department, Zoe organized an impromptu celebration dinner at our apartment. Marcus arrived with Tyler, both laden with takeout containers from our favorite dumpling place. To Eliot's main exhibition breakthrough, Tyler proposed, raising his water glass. And to Marcus's Lighthouse series being selected for the university's permanent collection. What? I turned to Marcus. You didn't tell me that. A rare flush colored his cheeks. Just found out this afternoon. Dad's unusually pleased, says it establishes institutional validation prior to commercial gallery representation. Translation: he finally approves of something Marcus created independently, Tyler clarified dryly. Has he mentioned our relationship recently? I asked carefully. Marcus exchanged glances with Tyler. Let's just say his objections have become less vociferous since my health stabilized and my work started receiving recognition again. He actually acknowledged that you seem more productively focused lately, Tyler added, which might be the closest he'll come to admitting he was wrong. I'll take it, I laughed, the lingering weight of Dr. Westfield's disapproval lifting slightly. Later, after Tyler and Zoe became engrossed in passionate debate about film techniques, Marcus pulled me onto our small balcony. The spring evening carried hints of approaching summer, campus lights glittering against darkening sky. I haven't properly thanked you, he said quietly. For what? For staying. Through the hospital, the health uncertainty, my father's interference. All of it. That's not something that requires thanks, I countered. It's just us. Nevertheless. He took my hand, tracing the familiar calluses from hours of mixed media work. There's something I want to ask you. About summer plans. My stomach tightened involuntarily. Summer loomed as potential separation. Marcus had prestigious internship offers, while I faced returning to my hometown for temporary jobs. The Lighthouse Foundation approved my proposal, he continued. A documentation project about decommissioned coastal structures. 2 months, traveling up the coast. That's amazing, I said sincerely. Perfect for your portfolio development. It would be more perfect with a mixed media artist collaborating. His expression held hopeful vulnerability I'd rarely seen before I'd known him, creating complementary perspectives of the same locations. The implication registered slowly. You want me to come with you? The stipend includes funding for interdisciplinary collaboration, he explained. It's legitimate professional opportunity, not charity, he added quickly, knowing my sensitivities. 2 months together, I said, testing the concept. Working and traveling. It won't always be comfortable, he cautioned. Long drives, budget accommodations, unpredictable weather. And I'll have health considerations throughout. Like real life, you mean, I observed. His smile appeared, the genuine one, not the public version. Exactly like real life. Just with better scenery and more art supplies. The invitation represented something beyond summer plans. A deliberate choice to integrate our creative and personal lives despite complications. Not ignoring challenges but building around and through them. I'd like that, I said simply. Very much. Exhibition opening night transformed the usually austere gallery into buzzing energy center. Faculty mingled with students and community arts patrons, conversations flowing alongside modest refreshments. My installation occupied a corner space visible from multiple gallery approaches, strategic positioning that surprised and pleased me. I stood nearby, watching visitors move through the layered panels, their expressions shifting as perspectives aligned to reveal previously hidden elements. The experience of witnessing others engage with my work, truly engage, not merely glance, filled me with unexpected satisfaction. Impressive execution, came Dr. Westfield's voice beside me. I hadn't noticed his approach, too absorbed in visitor reactions. Thank you, I managed, surprise evident in my tone. The dimensional narrative technique shows sophistication unusual for first-year work. His assessment remained professional rather than personal. Marcus mentioned you're joining the Lighthouse documentation project this summer. Yes, I confirmed cautiously. As collaborative artist. He nodded, expression revealing nothing. The foundation board was particularly interested in the interdisciplinary approach. Photography alone has documented these structures extensively. Mixed media perspectives offer something new. Before I could formulate response to this unexpected professional acknowledgement, his attention shifted past me. I turned to find Marcus approaching, camera in hand despite technically being off-duty for his own exhibition. I see you found Eliot's installation, Marcus said to his father, careful neutrality in his tone. Discussing the summer project, Dr. Westfield replied. The foundation expects regular progress updates. Of course, Marcus agreed smoothly. An awkward silence descended until Dr. Westfield checked his watch. I should speak with Professor Chin before she leaves. Important department funding discussions. With a formal nod to both of us, he moved away. That was almost civil, I observed once he was out of earshot. Progress, Marcus agreed. Glacially slow, but discernible progress. He actually complimented my work. Because it deserves recognition, Marcus said simply. Even my father can recognize genuine talent when institutional validation confirms his opinion. We moved through the exhibition together, pausing at Marcus's displayed photographs, not the commercial work his father preferred but selections from his personal projects, including the Lighthouse series that had first drawn me to his artistic perspective. Full circle, I noted, gesturing toward the triptych. From me admiring these during orientation to having my work exhibited alongside yours. Not quite full circle, he corrected. More like spiral progression. We returned to similar points but at different levels. The observation carried weight beyond artistic philosophy. Our relationship had indeed spiraled rather than circled, revisiting central themes of vulnerability, support, and creative dialogue, but with deepening understanding each revolution. After exhibition obligations concluded, we escaped the crowded after-party, driving north in comfortable silence. Without discussion, Marcus navigated toward our lighthouse, our having replaced his in our private lexicon. The structure stood sentinel against night sky, illuminated by moonlight rather than its long-extinguished beacon. We climbed to the observation deck, the familiar path requiring no artificial light after our many visits. Above, stars stretched in patterns I'd learned to recognize during our nighttime photography expeditions. Strange to think we'll be documenting dozens of these this summer, I said, leaning against the railing beside him. Yet I suspect this one will remain special. First connections usually do, Marcus agreed, his shoulder warm against mine despite spring evening chill. But I'm looking forward to creating new memories in new places. Even with health uncertainties and my occasional stubborn pride issues? I asked, only half joking. Especially with those, he replied seriously. They're part of our particular gravity. Gravity? I questioned, turning to face him. The natural force between bodies with mass, he explained, scientific precision giving way to something more philosophical. Invisible but fundamental. Consistent despite distance. Stronger the closer we become. The metaphor resonated unexpectedly deeply. What existed between us wasn't merely emotional connection but something more essential, mutual orbit that respected individual paths while acknowledging intrinsic attraction. I like that, I said. Gravity. Not romantic in conventional sense, but accurate. I thought you might appreciate the scientific poetry, he smiled. Rivera would probably call it interdisciplinary metaphor and assign an essay. We laughed together, the sound carrying across empty coastline. Below, waves continued their eternal conversation with shore, advancing, retreating, each movement both complete and part of endless cycle. Whatever happens next, Marcus said after comfortable silence, with my health, with our careers, with anything, this remains. What we've built. What we've seen in each other. The gravity between us, I confirmed. He nodded, expression peaceful beneath starlight. Precisely that. We remained on the observation deck until moonlight shifted, casting new shadows across familiar space. The lighthouse stood as it had for generations, purpose transformed but presence enduring. Like the structure itself, we had weathered initial storms and emerged altered but intact, our separate lights now aligned into shared illumination. What lay ahead remained unwritten, health challenges, creative struggles, professional uncertainties, but no longer faced alone. The negative space between us had transformed from barrier to connection point, the distance not emptiness but field of mutual gravity, drawing us together while honoring individual orbits. In photography terms, we had achieved proper depth of field, our relationship in sharp focus while background elements remained appropriately contextualized. Not perfect composition, but genuine and alive, each frame capturing moment while suggesting ongoing narrative beyond visible borders. The story would continue developing, like Marcus's photographs and my mixed media pieces, through process requiring both technical skill and emotional courage. But standing together between earth and sky, past and future, I felt certainty that whatever images emerged would be worth the exposure.